We got a 1 minute break, and we do that again.
Are we doing it again?
No!
You know what? I don't deserve dinner. I was watching.
So we are in the penthouse, the nicest room in the hotel, probably in Beverly Hills. And unfortunately, our stovetop that I was really relying on working to cook Liver King and our guests a great dinner isn't working. Fun. Basically what I did was I took it off demonstration mode. That's usually the issue that happens with these type of stovetops, but that didn't work right here. Not responding other than the on and off button. And so right now I'm looking how to handle this error, on how to fix it. That way we could get this fixed. The risk that you're taking whenever you're cooking in a kitchen that's not often used is you don't know if the appliances will work properly. Hey Chris, just calling to let you know that our stovetop isn't working and we need to get something cooked on here. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Awesome. I'm sending someone up. Hopefully that gets taken care of pretty quickly and we can get to cooking and get back on schedule. We have the eyeballs in here, so I have them steamed. Right now what I'm doing is releasing the pressure so I could take the eyeballs out pretty easily. Now I am taking apart the cheeks. These are going to take a while to cook, so I want to get these going. The cheeks have a lot of flavor towards them, and then they are very fatty, so it has a lot. That fat's going to add some extra flavor and extra nutrients to the meat in total. I'm gonna brine the tongue in a little bit of salt and vinegar. That's gonna help take out any gaminess that it might have and also just make it slightly softer. So we'll brine that for about 30 minutes before we put it in the pressure cooker to cook thoroughly. They are working on the stovetop. I'm not too sure how that's going to progress, if it will be able to get fixed in a timely manner. If it's not, then we will be cooking everything in the pressure cooker and the oven. So in my mind right now, I'm trying to figure out what needs to be done in order to get that executed. I still got more things to add to there, but for now we're just letting it soak in some lemon juice, and then later on we're going to add more flavors to it. With this dinner at the beginning, we had all the ingredients out, and I wanted to make it look very gruesome. So we had the head, and basically what we're doing with the head is deconstructing the head. So we'll be making a dish with the cheeks, another dish with the tongue, another dish with the brain. And so we're gonna make those very gourmet, very flavorful, just to really show people that even though it is gruesome, this is where your meat comes from, and it's pretty easy to make it taste really good. And we have our stove fixed, so we are good to go. Fixing the stove did set us back about 45 minutes, but we could easily remake that time by doing some restaurant tricks that I know. It's working, it's just not heating up as fast as I would like for it to heat up. So for tonight's dinner, we do have a special guest, Tennyson. He's gonna be living like Liver King for the day, so I wanna make sure that we feed them right and we feed them the exact way that Liver King will be eating. We did get the stovetop fixed, but we don't have any pots and pans. So I'm gonna go ahead and call room service to have them bring up some pots and pans, and to also clear off the table so I don't have to deal with that. Hey, is it possible to get some stainless steel pots and pans up here? 2 large pans and 2 medium-sized pots. It's very important that they have no Teflon on there. Thank you. And can you also send someone to clear the table when you get a chance? Thank you very much. Yeah, so we have the beef cheeks that fully cooked up in the Pressure cooker? Pressure cooker is great. The thing with the pressure cooker is you're not gonna get those flavors as if you slow cook it. So we got it fully cooked, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let it cool down and then finish cooking it off. That's the best part, by the way, top of the mouth. We're gonna finish cooking the meat in a pan with some other flavors such as lime, cilantro, and some garlic. So we're gonna go ahead and finish and cook our tongue thoroughly. For the tongue, you wanna cook that in either low and slow or in a pressure cooker for about an hour and 15 minutes. That's gonna make sure the tongue gets very tender and soaks the flavors really great. We have our organ medley going. Then we have our table being cleared off right now at the moment. We are headed to the market to finish off some of the ingredients that we got to get to hurry up and get dinner started. Pronto. We got what we need. We are headed back up to the penthouse to finish off our cooking for Liver King and our special guest. Walking through these hallways, we are on Liver King's floor. I could definitely smell the food that I'm cooking. It's filling up the hallways and it smells really good. I'm sure that all the other guests are gonna appreciate it really well. Right now I'm putting in some parsley and some lemon juice to our organ medley. The lemon juice is gonna help cut that flavor and then complement the parsley that's gonna be seasoning the organs while this is cooking down. So here we have our testicle ceviche in a very nice and fancy glass. In here is just lemon juice. I wasn't able to finish it off earlier because I didn't have the proper ingredients, but I want to add some lime juice to it, some cilantro, more salt, and then to finish it off, some fish sauce. I am clearing off the cutting board to start peeling the potatoes and prepping those for fries. So I think that the reason that they're taking so long with the pans is I did request stainless steel non-Teflon pans. Chances are they only have aluminum, which Liver King and his family does not allow me to use. And if they do have any stainless steels, they may or may not have Teflon there. So I'm sure they're outsourcing their pans from somewhere, as in buying them from a local store. Could never get away from the potatoes, no matter where you are. Always gotta have your carbs. So right now we're peeling the potatoes. We have a lot going on right now. I'd be lying if I say it wasn't hard work. But I always like to keep in mind that no matter how hard I'm working, Liver King does have a much busier job, and I know he's working extra hard.
This is nice, isn't it, Will?
That's good.
So we're gonna put our skull in to cook thoroughly. That way the bones get cooked and all the meat around the skull gets cooked. So they'll be able to eat off of that. It has been drying off, so we're gonna go ahead and put it directly on the rack. That way it cooks. So the pans still haven't come. We are still waiting on those. Right now what we did was we ordered room service to make us potatoes with butter, send them over. That'll be our next alternative. And everything else will be keeping warm in the oven on regular plates. The regular plates will be able to be oven safe as long as it's not too high of a temperature. And that's what we're gonna deal with right now. Add our garlic and shallots to the butter. We're gonna let those kind of flavors kind of infuse together. Get that pretty hot. Then we're gonna add our tongue to it. Oh yeah. The face meat in general of any animal is usually like the best tasting meat of the whole animal. Mainly because the muscles are used differently. There's not so many muscles. There's a lot more fat in there. And whenever you cook the whole head, the bones add a lot of flavor whenever you're cooking it with the bone. We're not doing that right now, but whenever you make just the whole roasted head, just the bones add that much flavor towards it, and it makes a huge difference. We're gonna season this with some salt, and then we'll add a little bit of lime juice right before we are ready to take it out. The beef tongue is a Hispanic-inspired dish. And so with this type of dish, especially with the lime, I do like adding some cilantro accents towards it. For me, that brings it back to its roots. I try to keep that for whatever culture I'm cooking, just to keep it at that culture. There are some times where I deviate from that, just as, when I'm experimenting, but for the most part, I do like to keep it kosher to that culture. Add that in there. Yeah, so right now we're just checking the cow head to see how that's coming. That's coming along really nicely. I put in the other dishes to keep warm in there and finish off cooking in regular plates. Because we're keeping them in regular plates, we want to make sure to not have them too hot because the regular plates will break if it's too hot. And because of that, we have to put them in sooner rather than later. A little bit of salt to that. So this right here is gonna be the organ medley. This is gonna be the beef cheeks. That's gonna be the tongue. We also have a testicle ceviche made, and we're going to finish off our souffle. All right, so we have our egg whites whipped up nicely. That's the kind that we want for souffles. If you have it whipped up too much, it's not gonna be a true souffle. We'll fold in the brain souffle base into the egg whites and bake that up. With souffles, egg whites in general, you always have to fold it in very softly. I don't have a stabilizer in here. You normally would use cream of tartar and some flour in the base itself, but because we're working with Liver King, we took those out. So it's very important that we're extra careful when we're folding it in. We will have a 5-minute window from it being finished in the oven to it being on the table. So that's also another challenge that we'll have to navigate through. Because the Liver King, you never know when he's gonna eat dinner. Right now I'm preparing Liver King, Liver Queen, and some liver for our guest Will. Exactly how we would at their house, as if they never left. Now that we have our liver weighed out, we're getting one for Liver King, obviously, and the exact portions weighed out for our guest Will as well, because he wants to try this. Our favorite way to eat liver is going to be partially frozen. That way the texture, it has a nice texture towards it. It's not so slimy. It also grafts onto the seasonings very well whenever it's partially frozen. It's almost like ice cream. It's 3:30 right now, but fortunately they are finishing up their workout. So because of that, I have an extra 15 minutes to get everything out, which works out perfectly for me. So we have the testicle ceviche that's finishing up right now. The one thing I don't like about it is all the cilantro is on top. So I want to make sure it gets mixed in thoroughly. That way it doesn't look like it has an abundance of cilantro, which Liver King will not like. I'm getting something on the table. That way whenever we put our hot plates on there, it won't ruin the table. And it also makes the dishes pop much more. The carbs are gonna come late. There's no doubt about that. So right now what we're doing is we did have some carbs from our breakfast earlier. So we'll use these to present the dinner, and those will be in place until the fresh carbs come, which will probably be getting here midway through dinner. Hopefully it won't be too much of an issue. We'll see though.
We're ready, so whenever you guys.
Yeah, we'll be ready in 2 minutes.
Oh, cool.
I am bringing everything out. We had one pan to cook everything.
Wow.
Because they didn't
What
bring.
going on there?
We have beef tongue, beef cheeks, and the top of the mouth. Deconstructed cow's head. And I think we have everything. Just let me double check. Oh yeah, throwing that out there, and they're bringing some of their potatoes shortly.
Your food, and just let me stay here for the entire day. Definitely really fun. Doing the cold plunge, doing 10 minutes. That was crazy for me. I enjoyed that.
Hell yeah.
And I feel like I just went out of my comfort zone a lot.
Good.
So that was just like that's like the big one.
That's awesome.
Really enjoyed it.